Another missed opportunity for Indiana basketball.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you making Locked On Hoosiers your first listen each and every day. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Another missed opportunity for Indiana basketball. They go on the road to a top 10 team in Illinois, a chance to get the first quad one win of the season, had multiple chances to win, and they couldn't do it. We're going to talk about that today on this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. I appreciate you being here. Shout out to all the everydayers, those of you who are here day in, day out, even on these bonus episodes on the weekends, and we appreciate you being here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us share, grow, and get bigger here at Locked On Hoosiers. And a reminder, we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Today's bonus episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks and drinks, and placing some super bets. Super Bowl, you've got all the prop bets, you've got all the game bets, you have the player bets, whatever you want to do with FanDuel, you can go and win so much with Super Bowl 58. FanDuel also has bets for which players are going to score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins, okay? So just visit FanDuel.com/Locked On to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/Locked On. Make every moment more right now with FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. Indiana basketball goes on the road. They lose to Illinois 70-62, and just another missed opportunity. How many times have we had this year where Indiana had a team that they were up against, beating, had a chance to get a quad one win? Some of the games have not been pretty, right? But this is another game. I look back, a lot of reminders to that Kansas game, right? That one was played at home. This one was by far the best road performance we've seen Indiana play all season long. You didn't have Kel'el Ware. That was my worry yesterday on the show. And even without him, you still almost won the game. And I'm a firm believer that if Kel'el Ware plays, Indiana probably wins this game because Illinois just didn't have an answer for Indiana in the paint. So we're going to talk about all that here in a bonus episode. We'll do likes and dislikes, look ahead to what's next for this Indiana team, and just a heartbreaker. Once again, the Hoosiers lose 70-62. Your player of the game for the Hoosiers was obviously Malik Reneau, 21 points, 8 of 12 from the floor, 5 of 9 from the free throw line, had 7 total rebounds, and the thing that hurt him the most was him fouling out there at the end. And look, I'm surprised it took as long as it did, just to be completely honest with you. I'm surprised Illinois didn't go at him sooner and foul him out quicker. And they played the last, 4 minutes without him, did Indiana. So that's a tough thing to have. But here's the biggest problem, okay? And we kind of go ahead and get into likes and dislikes. That's what the whole episode's going to be. The fact that this Indiana team, the fact that there is a college basketball team, a group of individuals who are good enough to play in the game of college basketball, cannot shoot from three. They can't do it. They suck. They can't shoot from three. They didn't hit a three the entire game. They only shot 9 of them, and I understand that that's not our game. That's not Indiana's offense, but they talked a lot about it on the broadcast. You have to be able to hit shots here and there. You've got to be able to have that comeback factor into your game, and also the killer mentality, the shut them up on the road type of shot. Indiana does not have that. I'm sorry, but a turnaround layup from Malik Reneau doesn't do anything to that student section there in Champaign. What does is a big-time three that splashes through the nylon. That'll shut a crowd up, right? That will intimidate the other team. Indiana does not pose that threat whatsoever, and that's a major problem. And it's games like this where, again, it's just an opportunity that you had to get that win that you needed to kind of accelerate your season, a revival, if you will, that would given you that first quad one win, a win that you desperately needed for your NCAA tournament hopes. And you didn't get it. And you still have chances, but man, what a resume builder, resume starter this would have been for Indiana to take down number 10 Illinois. And the biggest problem to me is they played good enough to do it, right? They played well enough to win this game. But yet, here we are again. They weren't able to close it out. They were not able to win. They were not able to put anybody away, and they lose 70-62. You look at some of the other stats for other players on this team. Your second leading scorer was Xavier Johnson. And there were some great parts about his game. There were some not so great parts about his game. I thought he was aggressive with those 14 points. I liked him, getting to the basket, getting those fouls, and kind of orchestrating that offense a little bit. But man, not knocking down your free throws. 2 of 7 from your point guard at the free throw line. There is nothing that makes me more mad than a guard that can't shoot free throws. And that's exactly what happened in the 0 for 2 there at the end of the game. That didn't help you either if you're Indiana. But it is nice to see him hopefully get some confidence back and some skill, right as he was back in the starting lineup. You also have McKenzie Mbako, who, God, his shooting numbers are just so bad. 4 of 14 in this game, 0 of 3 from the floor, or from behind the arc, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. So you can't blame him for the 12 of 22 free throw shooting that Indiana did, which is pretty abysmal. And look, Illinois wasn't great. They made up for it down the stretch. But overall, man, Indiana just ran out of scorers. They just ran out of guys that could get you a bucket. Here we go again. Trey Galloway, 8 points. I was hoping this would be an opportunity for him to show off again in a big game. That didn't happen, right? Anthony Walker played okay, played solid minutes, but out of your starters, and you just don't have guys that can get you buckets, especially when Kel'el Ware is out, when Malik Reneau fouls out, and who do you go to in the paint? Because that's all Indiana can do. And shout out to Illinois as well. I mean, they had guys that were playing well. And look, Indiana, again, likes and dislikes here. I really liked Indiana's defense. I think they played well enough on defense to win the game, right? You held Illinois to 38 points in the first half, 32 points in the second half. They shot 37% from the floor, 30% from 3. This is Illinois, 65% from the free throw line. And they had 9 turnovers. Now, Indiana also did something for most of the game. The final number didn't show it. They rebounded really well. And there were a couple of possessions. No, they didn't get them, and it led to Illinois points. And they did get out rebounded 42-35. But, man, Indiana played a game that they were in a game. They were in it. They could have won this game. They just didn't have enough players to make it happen. I thought the offensive game plan was solid. It was Malik Reneau. You just don't have shooters. You just don't have anybody else that can get you a bucket outside of Reneau. And today it was Xavier Johnson as well. And so where do you go from here, right? What happens now? Now that you had another top 10 team on the ropes, you couldn't put them away. You look ahead for what this team has, and they have more quad one opportunities. Thank goodness we come home, right? We come home in this game, or after this game, I should say. We have a couple of home games coming up for the Hoosiers. You have Iowa and Penn State, but those aren't going to be tournament type of wins. Those aren't going to do anything. Now, you got to win them, right? You better win. If you win, you don't get anything. If you lose everything type of thing. But overall, you're now 3-game losing streak. You've lost, 5 out of your last 7 now, if you're Indiana. And again, the health of Kel'el Ware is an urgent factor here. If he doesn't come back, I mean, the chances of making the tournament are slim already. And this was, yet again, a missed opportunity to beat a good team, to show that Indiana belongs in this conference, for Indiana to say, hey, we should still be considered for the NCAA tournament. No, you shouldn't. Not now. Not anymore. Not anymore. Because Illinois did not play good. They didn't. Illinois did not play. They didn't play good at all. Give some credit to Indiana, sure, but missed free throws, missed layups, right? Tons of fouls, sloppy play, turnovers. Like, they just didn't hit shots either. And Indiana had every chance to win, and they couldn't do it. And that's what tells me I just don't think this team has it. I don't think this Indiana team is there. I don't think they've got that mentality of, hey, let's put them away. Let's send the fans home disappointed. Let's get a big win, the biggest win of the year. They don't have that. They don't have any of that killer mentality, those high pressure type of guys who don't fold in situations. I don't know. I don't know where you go here. And the confidence that I have that I once had is gone. Now, injuries have not helped, right? Xavier Johnson dealt with it for a while. Now Kel'el Ware's dealing with it for a while. But, man, they play so scared sometimes, and they don't have the ability to do it. And that's what's disappointing, is the potential is there. I mean, the potential to be legitimately a top 25 team, I think, is there. I still think it's there. They just don't have it, the it factor, right? The will to make that possible. And today showed that. Today showed that when you missed your chance to get a big win on the road, wipe the slate clean, and get into the back half of the schedule and really try to make something of this season. And they couldn't seize the day. They couldn't do it. And that's just more disappointing than anything. And look, that's been a pretty common theme around here, has it not? I mean, it's been a pretty common theme when we're talking about this particular Indiana basketball team. And there's so much more to talk about here. There's so much more to get to. We'll do that as the week goes on. We'll have another episode come out for you here on Monday. We will continue talking about this game, begin looking ahead because, as I mentioned, Indiana returns home. They play Iowa on Tuesday evening back here in Bloomington. So we'll have to turn around and get ready for that. We'll preview that. We'll continue talking about the week. Penn State coming up next weekend. Then you get into a brutal stretch. Ohio State, Purdue, Northwestern, Nebraska. I mean, you talk about more opportunities. They're going to be there. And I don't think it's completely over. I don't. I still think Indiana could find their way into the tournament, make a run in the Big Ten tournament to do that. But, man, I think you got to get healthy first. And there was a lot to build off here. There was a lot to build off here. And we will continue talking about that over the next week and two. And as we get through some more games here in the Big Ten. Let me know what you think in the comments. Your thoughts about this game. Indiana losing 70-62. Is it over? Can this team still make the tournament? Do they have big wins in them? Let me know if you're on YouTube down in the comments. You can tweet at us on Twitter, X, right, at Locked On Hoosiers. Be sure you follow us on there. Engage with us there. We love seeing you and what you have to say. Be sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Again, it helps us share and spread the channel and kind of grow and begin and build a bigger family here. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode, this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. We'll have one coming out for you on Monday. And until then, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.